Welcome back to CTV Morning Live. Great to have you joining us at this time for our Ask the Expert segment with Brenda Hollingsworth. Of course, you can always give us a call live here on the air, 789-6559, extension 2803, or always send us in a question via our email, via our Facebook page, or via our Twitter handle as well. Brenda, always a pleasure to have you here for the segments.
Thanks for having me.
And it's always interesting because, you know, we go through the process of how things work in the court system, all the things that are needed for the documents when it comes to personal injury. And then we haven't quite gotten to the actual, the act or what has occurred, the accident, wherever it may be, as to what you should be doing and what you shouldn't, the do's and the don'ts after a situation.
Right, so when we're talking about a car accident, people are caught up in the moment, and it can be quite overwhelming with, you know, what do I need to do? And there are some simple things you can do that make your life way easier later on. Number one, of course, if you're injured, that is the number one priority, to make sure that you get proper medical care, that you're safe, you're not in the middle of the road. You know, sometimes pedestrians are in the middle of the road, or if you're on a motorcycle. So safety is obviously number one, and you don't need me to tell you that. But there are things that you do probably need to hear from someone, like call the police. This is a recurring problem that we have when our clients come to us. They've had an accident, and in discussion with the other driver, you know, sometimes the other driver kind of asks them, please don't call the police, I'll pay for it privately, I don't want to go through insurance, and so the police don't attend the scene. Or somebody tries to convince you that there's not very much damage that you can see to the car, so you don't call the police. But anytime there is an injury in an accident, the police are required to attend. So it's not only based on the amount of damage to the car, which a lot of people think.
I was going to say that. I mean, there's certain situations where you go and there's a little bit of a fender bender.
Oh yeah.
It's one thing to deal with, knowing that you're going to have to go through insurance and things are going to happen. But
Right.
if there's any probability or any symptom that you're seeing that someone could be hurt, you need to have that police report.
Right, and even if it's like minor neck pain or a small headache or a small shortness of breath, those things, the first 24 hours or 48 hours after the accident, those things explode, and you don't have the advantage of knowing in advance. Get the police report. It'll make your life so much easier.
So do call the police.
That's right, and don't accept the other party's word that they're going to pay for the damage. It's not that they're dishonest, it's just you have to look out for your own interest, which is having that police report. The number two thing you need to do is get checked out same day. If at all possible, get medical assistance the same day. If somebody suggests to you that you should go to the hospital, go to the hospital. We have a lot of people who say, well, yes, I was in extreme pain, but all I wanted to do was go home. And that's an understandable feeling, but it doesn't serve your interest. Go to the hospital. It's the hospital that's going to requisition x-rays. It's the hospital that's going to know if you have a brain bleed. All kinds of serious things can not be obvious at the scene, but that could be checked out. And from a practical perspective later on, when you're trying to advance your claim, if you've gone to the hospital the same day, it sends a message about the seriousness of the accident.
And it starts also the trail of the paperwork that I know you have talked about before, and having to go through all the records and all the people who saw you.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, there are going to be instances where it's not practical to go to the hospital. In that situation, make it a priority to get to a medical clinic within 24 hours. It's not like if you don't go to the hospital, it's not worth doing anything. But at least within 24 hours, you want to get some kind of medical attention. Partly to make sure you're okay, and partly to make sure your injuries are documented.
Okay, so those are the first two things. What else do we have?
Other things that are important, difficult, I'm not going to say it's not difficult, but in the moment, at the scene, there are always bystanders who come and help and give you a blanket and talk to you about, yeah, I saw that guy run the red light. Get their names, right? They do not always end up speaking to the police. If the police get enough information for their own purposes, they sometimes stop getting witness information. So if you don't get the witness information, those witnesses are gone. And it can be important. Not just for who's at fault in the accident, because usually that's pretty clear, but also for the severity of the accident, the severity of the impact, that's going to matter later on when you try to prove that your injuries were caused by this accident. You don't only have to prove that there's an accident, but also that the mechanism of the accident justifies what you're saying your injuries are.
Is it difficult to be able to get those people to give you names, numbers, or how do you work it? You could be in pain.
Well, right.
So this is something that if you have the frame of mind
Right,
to do so.
Right, and I'm not saying that you're always going to be able to. If you're on a backboard, you're probably not going to be able to do that. But what a lot of people do is hand their phone and ask the person to program in their phone or their info
Yeah.
into the phone. That's a great thing. Business card, just ask. I think most people want to help. And I mean, for those potential witnesses out there, the chance of you actually being called as a witness at trial, very, very small. Only 4 or 5% of motor vehicle accident cases go to trial. So giving somebody your business card is going to help them get a fair settlement. It absolutely does not mean that you're going to be a witness at trial.
It's just helping that individual out.
It saves a lot of heartache.
Some of the do's and the don'ts. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be back to continue on this list because it's something that you see often with the clients that are coming into your office. Once again, there's the information to get a hold of us and ask Brenda your questions. Brenda Hollingsworth, live here on the show, 789-6559, extension 2803. You can always send us a question via our email, via our Facebook page, and via our Twitter handle as well. We'll be back with more after this.